Before I get started with this video, I have to give a shout out to Lisa Cabrera for sending this to me. And honestly, I didn't know if I was going to do this as a triple P or not, but because there's money involved and them pockets might be ran on the Coonstress, I said, why not? I mean, this still isn't the big one or the big moment that we want yet, but I'll take whatever we can get, start chipping away until we get there. So the Coonstress is in a little bit of hot water right now, because apparently she was supposed to speak at this Republican gig and she reneged on it, and now the company that she was working with or supposed to be working with is now charging her $30,000 for not fulfilling her end of the bargain. Let's see what they talking about. Candace Owens recently reneged on a previous agreement to appear at an event on Juneteenth for a Republican group so that she could instead attend a birthday party for the wife of a country music singer who once wore blackface for Halloween while purportedly dressing up as a rapper. That's just the opening statement. First off, if she would have attended that, she would have looked like a complete hypocrite, because remember that tweet that she put out about Juneteenth a couple of days before it? Or not a couple days before, but right around that time, when they turned it into a federal law, or not law, a federal holiday, in that tweet that she made. So imagine if she would have attended that event after she said that, and she would have looked like a hypocrite. But I mean, she looked like a hypocrite in many, many ways anyway, outside of that. Second, she said she was attending a birthday party for the wife of a country music singer who once wore blackface for Halloween. Truth be told, in this picture right here, she looks like she's in blackface, and underneath it, she looks like she could be that of a white woman. I mean, considering that's what she wants to be. She blamed it all on being the mother of an infant, but a closer look into the details suggests there may be much more to it. It was the latest evidence that Owens, a prominent conservative grifter who selectively timed anti-black shtick, has made her a permanent fixture in the proverbial sunken place, cares more about her personal gain than she does for the revered Republican Party, to which she has repeatedly sworn allegiance. Case in point, according to local news outlet The Spectrum, Owens, who announced she gave birth to a boy in January, contractually agreed in February to be paid $30,000 to speak at a fundraiser that was held by the Washington County Republican Party, or the WCRP. This past Saturday in St. George, Utah, both sides had been negotiating the terms for a full year. 3 months later, in May, Owens' manager abruptly asked WCRP chairwoman Lisa Sandberg to cancel the appearance. "Hi, Sandberg. Hope your week is going well," Owens' manager Gina Florio wrote. "So sorry to have to do this, but Owens isn't going to be able to do this event on June 19th. She has been struggling with several of her past events because of her rigorous breastfeeding and pumping schedule." Florio added, "St. George is so far away that we can't find reasonable commercial flights that allow her to maintain her pumping schedule and get home soon enough. She sends her deepest apologies, and hopefully we can work something out in the future. I highly doubt that's going to happen." On the surface, that actually sounds like quite a reasonable and valid request. But as we know, the Coonstress is sunken well beneath any surface, and soon her manager was instead offering Sandberg an ultimatum that included the demand of Owens flying to St. George after all, on the condition that WCRP chartered a private jet from Nashville, where Owens lived, straight to St. George. First off, let me say, hearing that she's living in Nashville and not in DC just warms my heart, because the further away that I am away from her, the better off I am. Now, for those who live in Nashville or the surrounding cities, I don't know what to tell you. By that point, though, WCRP had already paid for Owens' travel expenses and accommodations after telling Florio in April that the event had been sold out. A charter jet proved to be too expensive for the Republican group. So basically, they were asking for too much. Here's the thing. Palm Color has propped this woman up so high, and her head is so big, that she feels that she should be traveling like a whole celebrity out here, and she's not that, and at least not outside of the sphere that she's in right now, which is more like a bubble that needs to be popped. "Nothing we offered was good enough for her short of that chartered flight," Sandberg said. WCRP ended up losing money it spent on Owens' travel and was forced to fork over about $17,000 in refunds after people began canceling their reservations for the event. A potential legal battle is looming, as Sandberg said WCRP had already paid for a number of non-refundable purchases, including plane tickets. Owens' camp said she was never paid a dime and never signed a contract and severed ties with WCRP after legal action was threatened. Either way, her last-second cancellation left the door open for Owens to go to country music singer Jason Aldean's house to celebrate his wife's birthday. Now, you want to know what's so crazy? She claimed that she couldn't go because of her rigorous schedule, her breastfeeding schedule to her infant child, who it's kind of crazy that she's still breastfeeding at this point because the child was born back in January, but that's neither here nor there. But she had time to go to a country music singer's wife's birthday, but her schedule was so full and compact to go to this event, which was around the same time. Truth be told, Candace didn't want to go to speak at that event because it was probably because of the subject matter. And like I said, she already made that tweet, so it made it look like a hypocrite to go to that event and talk about whatever they was going to discuss at this event that was labeled as Juneteenth. So, and then it doesn't surprise me that she goes to this event for someone who is close to someone who wore blackface. That doesn't surprise me either. Let me see. An appearance that, if WCRP claims are true, suggests she probably collected, or at least tried to collect, a handsome dowry for making. In other words, Candace Owens was seeking a payday for an event that she had no plans on going to. She was about to rob them, but they was like, "Oh nah, no, you gonna pay that money back, and we're gonna make sure that it happens." And I hope that these allegations, if they are allegations, I hope they're true, and they run them pockets. Aldean, as some might remember, went viral for all the wrong reasons in 2015 when photos circulated on social media showing him in blackface in a Halloween costume he said was supposed to be rapper Lil Wayne. His wife was pictured beside him wearing an apparent street gang outfit with culturally appropriated braids. In other words, Owens' grift was accomplished, and then some. Wash, rinse, repeat. This is America. This is her, y'all. This is the coonstress in all of her glory, if you want to call it that. But there's so much more to this chick that is just downright disgusting. Like, way more. But I'm not surprised that she did this. I'm not in the least bit surprised. And I hope they make her pay that money too. I hope she's made to pay all of it back. Because she knew what was coming up, but then she had all these demands, and when they couldn't meet the demands that she wanted, then they try to make it seem like it's their fault. And then she finds a way to go and attend a country music singer's wife's birthday for someone who dressed in blackface and his wife dressed in culturally appropriated clothing. Man, I keep telling y'all, this this chick is off the chain. But this, I kind of didn't want to make this a triple P, because it was like, okay, they said they charged her, but has she been made to pay yet? But you know, it is what it is. I hope that she completely falls flat on her face. It kind of looks like she kind of did right here, because her face does look like a rolled out piece of dough. But anyway, this chick is just like one of the worst people walking in this planet. She has to know this. Like, she has to know this.